student, today we will learn lesson 1 of the course Beginner Python, and we will need the help of the free software IDLE the application to do the Python programming. Okay, later I will explain why we need to use this in the beginner course. Of course, there are more advanced softwares like Python, which are more user-friendly, but I think it will be a good idea for you to build up the good habit with not so user-friendly software, rather than you use some software like Python, where it's so convenient that it can auto-type functions, classes for you, and you don't have the habit of typing it letter by letter yourself at the beginner stage. Just like how you learn English and Chinese, we learn letter by letter, and we learn the Chinese a little bit by little bit, then to build up the professional habit of programming. Okay, so first, where to download the IDLE? It's inside the Python official website. So when you Google Python, it should be listed out as one of the top choices, and then you should go to this https www.python.org. So when you click into here, you should be able to see the homepage of the Python official website. But if you are generous enough, you can always donate for the open source team. Okay, so here under the downloads menu, you can click here to download the latest version of your device. So for example, my one is Mac OS. It can be auto detected and then ask me to just click and download. If you are using Windows, it will of course help you to download in for Windows version, so you don't need to choose yourself, it can auto detect. Okay, and then once you download, you should be able to see this. Oh, by the way, there's a way that you need to take note. When you download and install in Windows particular, you need to check this box which says that save the path or something like that. I can't really remember, because in Mac it's auto setting, but in Windows you need to set it yourself. Otherwise, it's a little bit harder to find your application. Okay, so just remember to take note on this. So after installation, you should be able to see the IDLE coming up over here. And when you click the IDLE, a window is coming out. So let me close the behind browser. This is, I would say, is your shell window. And for my Scratch student, it will be easier to explain to you in a way that this shell window, do you see on top IDLE shell 3.11.2? So this shell window is your stage area, if I say in a concept of Scratch course, because this mainly is the code output running space. You can of course write the code over here, print hello. When you enter, it will give you the output of hello in a blue text. You can test your code over here, but it's not recommended to write long scripts or complex programs in the shell window, because it's very hard to debug, and you can't really save data once you close the shell. So for the long-term run, I would require my students not to write code in the shell window in the very first beginning, although it will be a little bit troublesome to write your exercise code on every single file that you need to create, but that will benefit you where you start to write complex code or exercise. You will have the habit to just create a Python file and write code there and run the output into the shell window here. So what do I mean? How to create a Python file? Go to File menu and choose the new file. Okay, so did you see the shortcut over here? In my Mac, you can do the shortcut as Command N, but in Windows, it should be Control N. N stands for new file. So when I click this, a new file come out. And this file, if you can see the title here, is saying untitled. If you can see the top bar here, because you haven't saved this file. So always remember to save your work before you lost your code. So let's say you can press Control S in Windows, Command S in Mac. So in my case, it's Command S. So once I press that, a pop-up window will show to me, ask me where I want to save it. So do choose a directory that you can find easily. In my case, it's desktop. I can rearrange my files later in the folder, but right now I just put inside the desktop and name it as Lesson1. Okay, so once this is saved, you can see the untitled become a lesson1.py. That is the extension of your Python file. So this indicate to the computer that, hey, this file is regarding about Python code. And after the dash is the directory of the location. In other words, it's the location of your file, which is under the or in the desktop. Okay, so let's say how do I run my code into the shell window on the left hand side? I do the same. Here, let's teach you another technique. Copy and paste. Highlight whatever things that you want to copy and press Control C for Windows, Command C for Mac. And how to paste it after you copy is Control V for Windows, Command V for Mac. Here we go. So you no need to type it yourself, but of course if you want to type a different sentences, you need to edit the data or the value inside the print function. Okay, so once this is copy over, I can go to the run menu and click run model, and then it will ask me to save first before it will run to the shell window. And you can see that the hello is printed out with a separation line of dash and together with your file name and directory over here. Okay, so this is one way that you can print or output your code into the shell window on the right side, on the left side. Another way is using shortcut. As you can see just now, here is a run module. There's a F5 shortcut here. Some computer just press F5 and then it will do the work, but some won't, like mine. Okay, so when I press F5, it asks me to enable dedication, which is not right. So some computer is F and F5, and then it will do the work for you. Okay, just remember, some computer works as F5 on your keyboard to run your code. Some computer work as Fn, F5. And do remember to select your file window before you run your code. If you don't select your file window, let's say my cruiser is currently stopped at the shell window. When I run my code, it just won't work, okay? Because you are not selecting your file window. So do remember to select the file window, then you click the shortcut on your keyboard to run your code. Okay, so this is something to take note. And so far we already learned how to create new files, save your new files, copy the code, paste the code, how to run your code into the shell window together with the shortcut. Now let's practice some other common shortcuts in your keyboard. Not only to apply in IDLE itself, it can apply to all the softwares in your computer, including Microsoft, Excel, PowerPoint, Notes. Even in the browser, you want to copy paste something, this is very useful. Also, this information is for young students around 9 years old to 11 years old. Okay, so if you already know this, just jump this section of the video content and you go to the next the ones that you need to learn. Okay, so let's start on the shortcut first. The next shortcut I want to teach you all is how to cut. Okay, so let's say, let me practice with your on-field copy and paste version. Let's say I want to paste 2 lines together. Just need to highlight, copy and paste. Let's say I want to paste, copy and 4 lines together. Okay, so out of these 8 lines of print function, if you want to cut away this line of code, then you can use not only Control C, Control V, because it's double work. Imagine you Control C, Control V here, and then you paste it over here. Then you need to go back and delete this line of code, which is kind of double work, right? So how to do this is you select this line of code, use Control X for Windows, Command X for Mac, and then it can do the cutting effect, cutting job for you, and then you just Control V or Command V on the lines that you want to paste it. So in other words, you don't need to go back to that line and delete your code. This is cut and paste. Okay, next I want to teach you is about undo. Okay, so how, let's say I delete my code accidentally and I went to panic. What happened to my code? I accidentally deleted it and I don't want to rewrite again. What can I do? As long as you see the star over here, that means your file is not saved. You can always undo your action. How to undo your action is by Control Z in Windows, Command Z in Mac. So let me redo it again. Let's say I accidentally delete my code and I undo it. My code is all back in one action. Okay, so this is to prevent you wasting the time and effort to retype every single thing again. Alright, so here, once I save ready and I want to Command Z again, still possible. It depends on how many steps you want to undo in the previous steps. So one Command Z is 1 steps away. Okay, alright, so once we learn this undo technique, I'm going to teach you about other shortcuts applied to the IDLE. Let's say I want to save. I don't need to go to File and Save. You can see the shortcut on the right hand side is Command S, or in Windows is Control S. Or you can save as a duplicate copy, also can. So you can go for Shift key, Control S, or Shift key, Command S. Okay. Other than this, let's say I want to close my file and I want to reopen the file that I do it just now. How to open? You can't really just double click the Python file and open it. It will not use the IDLE to open it. It will use my other coding editor to open it. So how to open in IDLE? You can, on your shell window, let's say if your shell window is still existing on your desktop here, and you can use File, Open, or as you can see the shortcut here is File, the Command O or Control O. O is for open, stands for open. Okay, this is one way to open it. Find your directory and open it. Okay, so here it is. Now, there's a second way to open it is recent files. It's my favorite way of opening my files because I got loads of files running. So if I just choose, let's say I want to browse through what files I worked before, I can just go here and the top listed ones are the recent ones I work with, or I can open any other files by one glance of look. This is very good feature if you are writing more and more files in the later stage. Okay, now let's look at the screen on the right side. Let me summarize with you all the shortcuts you learned so far. And these are the main things you need to learn in Beginner Python Lesson 1. I know it's very fundamental, and I know that it's very easy for some of you already know the shortcuts, but for some students who haven't learn all the shortcuts before, it will be very useful for them to use the tools. Okay, other than this, just before the lesson end, I want you to close all your shell window. Try to open your IDLE once more and learn how to create files, how to open the files, open your lesson 1 file, and write something yourself other than the hello. Okay, maybe write other greeting sentences. Let's say this is Tuesday. Okay, and then you try to run it. See whether your code can be successfully run on the left side of the shell window. Okay, so once this is done and lesson 1 is done, let's go to lesson 2, and then we will going to focus on how is this print function worked, and we're going to start learning about variables also. Okay, I will see you on the next lesson and look into the variables.